If you want to get yourself into a comfortable position now and either turn off your cameras, or if you, it looks like everyone's got their mics off, so thank you very much for that. And we'll begin by getting into a comfortable seated position. You may lie down too if you've got the ability or space to do that. You're more than welcome to. Otherwise, in a nice seat, aligning the back straight, releasing and dropping the shoulders down. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can gently close the eyes and just release and relax the jaw, and release and relax the brow, and allowing the eyes to gently close and release and relax, feeling the seat beneath you, and just allowing the body to release and relax, knowing that that's there to support you, and you can let go. And we'll begin by taking 3 deep breaths together, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's breathe in through the nose and releasing out through the mouth. Breathing in through the nose, releasing out through the mouth. And a breath in and releasing out through the mouth, letting go, relaxing, releasing and dropping those shoulders, and coming home to this moment and allowing the breath to return back to its regular breathing pattern, and just bringing our focus to the breath for a moment now. Watching it flow in and out of the body, allowing it to flow, not trying to force it or change it, just noticing it, watching it, being present with it. Now, I want you to imagine you're stepping into a time machine. And as you step into the time machine, take a seat, put the belt on, and see the panel in front of you. And there's a big dial showing different times in your life. And today we're going to switch the dial to the mark that says my childhood. So using your hand now to turn the dial, click, 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 till it gets to my childhood. And next to the dial is a big green button. It's now time to press the green button. And as you press the button, you can feel yourself pushed back in your seat. Feel the pressure against your body as you're zooming through time. Zooming and zooming. And all of a sudden, the machine starts to slow, slowing and slowing until it eventually stops. The pressure releases. You undo your belt. And you get up and open the door and step outside. As you step outside, you see yourself as a child. You can see that you are happy and enjoying a sunny day. And your adult self is here today to be an observer, to watch your younger self. You are here to see what brings you joy. And as the watcher, no one can see you, but you can see everything. So take the time now to explore where you are and see what your younger self is doing. Notice what memories rise to the surface as you watch your younger self. What can you see her doing? And as you're watching her move from memory to memory, you might see her playing at the beach one moment, making sandcastles, playing with the seaweed. Next, you might see yourself in a tutu, doing pirouettes and jumping, with the princess crown on. You may flick to another memory of being in the kitchen and baking, flour everywhere, tasting the batter, feeling the love of whoever you're with. Next, you might be playing with your friends, might be running around, playing chasey, colouring in, drawing, riding your bike, roller skating, just watching the flow of the memories and following yourself through this time period, through all the moments of joy. You look at yourself carefree, full of joy, completely present in each and every moment, always being connected to the body and the mind and the soul. Spending a few moments absorbing everything you need to know, noticing where you are, noticing how you're feeling, noticing what you're doing. Can you see the memories of joy? Can you see the memories of nourishment? Have you remembered what you can do to fill up your cup? Spending a few more moments watching your younger self, enjoying all these memories, seeing all the things you used to do as a girl, moving through time. Might jump from a memory from 4 to 14. There's no right or wrong order. Just noticing all the things you did so naturally, did without thinking. It's now time to return, sending your younger self some love and gratitude, and taking in all those memories, allowing them to fill your heart, and taking the time to return back to the time machine, sitting down, putting on your belt, and turning the dial back to the mark that says the present moment. Tick, 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 turning the dial. and press the green button to go. You feel the movement and pressure once again, zooming through time, coming back to the present. The machine starts to slowing and slowing until it stops. And taking a deep breath in through the nose, releasing out through the mouth, returning back to this time and place, feeling those memories nourishing you. And in a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bowl. And when the bowl ends, this will signify the end of our meditation together. And you can gently awaken the body and open the eyes. And gently awakening, stretching the body, wriggling the toes, wriggling the fingers, and coming back. And if you feel comfortable, I'd love for you to share maybe one of your memories of joy, one of the things that you forgot about that might nourish you, that you could use now in your present moment, particularly through this time of restrictions. It's really important that we look after ourselves, and knowing how to look after ourselves, knowing what brings us joy is key to be able to nourish ourselves. Because if we think a glass of wine is making us feel better, but it's actually just numbing us, then we're not nourishing ourselves in any way. We're not filling up our cups. Whereas if we can see that little girl playing outside in the grass and just lying there and doing, snow angels in the grass, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. Maybe going out and doing that in the middle of the day when it's warm might help you connect to your joy, your essence, and it might fill your cup up more than you realize. So if anyone's comfortable to share a memory, please, you can type it in or you can speak and share it. Otherwise, we will move on to our topic for the night.
It's cold.
What about you? Do you have a memory?
For me, I noticed, I used to live in a court when I was a little girl. So I used to just love getting on the bike and just go around and around and around the court. And I just remember having that sense of freedom. My parents would never be like, where you going, what are you doing? It was that really sense of, I'm going for a bike ride. Okay. It was just like that sense of freedom that you could do that as a 10-year-old. And I used to go on the back streets and I knew every street, and I would challenge myself. I'm going to go to Mount Chelsea Park. Like I would push myself to go as far as I could, knowing that I was going to get home safely. So I remember us playing elastics and playing soccer with the boys in grade 5. Like I just had like all these rapid memories to go, ooh, ooh, dancing and everything, playing the drums. It all just came back flooding. It just fills up my cup just thinking about it. So it was lovely. Beautiful meditation.
What have we got? Angela. Oh, Angela Adriana loves to ride her bike too. Yeah. Like to ride a bike. What's Angela got? Angela potting plants. Oh, running through the sprinkler. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember doing that. That was good fun.
One of those.
The helicopter one. They go.
What is the washing lines that go around and you hang?
Oh, I still got mine. The clothes hoist.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Singing to the cassette. Remember having when you used to record a song from the radio. Have your stuff ready.
That was really cool.
I think you're a little bit young, mate.
We're showing our age. We're going to keep quiet.
Stacey loves hide and seek. Yeah, my kids really love hide and seek now still.
What else have we got there?
So,
Oh, the top 40. Yeah.
what I wanted to do is bring some light-heartedness, because there's not a lot of that around right now. And when we can go back to our childhood, like all of us are smiling right now and feeling this sense of, oh, I remember that nostalgia, those really good times. We can have those now. It's about bringing that energy into what we're doing now and using those things, like, singing around the house with the kids to your favorite songs and dancing around, or, obviously sprinklers a little bit hard at the moment because it's middle of winter, but you could do mud play. There's some mud play, get the mud out. I remember used to make mud cakes and get the flowers off the trees and put them on for decoration.
Patty cakes.
Just those little things. We were so present in every moment as a child, not worrying about our clothes getting dirty or dirt getting under our nails. We were just so present with what we were doing. Whereas now as adults, we forget that. We're like, oh, I've got to clean this up, or I've got to, so we forget to have those fun things. So use that meditation, because it will be recorded and you can listen to it again, to continue to go back and see what else comes up for you, and then see if there's a way that you can bring that energy or bring that memory to your now, to nourish yourself and honor yourself with some form of self-care around that memory, around that practice.
Doing things that brings a smile to your face. And sometimes the ones with the little toddlers, like, they know how to be fully present. So sometimes just saying, you be the leader and I'll follow your lead, and getting down to their level, they see the world very differently. They have a sense of curiosity. They're like little scientists. They like to look at things and pull things apart. And for us, we're like, oh, I don't see the point in it. But when you start to do it on their level, seeing it from their ground level, it sort of just brings a new sense of, you look at the world very differently, because we think we know it all. It's like, I don't need to do that. But sometimes getting to that level, maybe playing dolls or cars with them, getting on the ground, just having that laughter together. A child is really good in that awakening. They can show us how to be very present. So yeah, that's good way to start the night. Shall I begin to talk about the self-care? Yep. So I want to start off with a quote. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. And I think this quote by Katie Reed, it's profound and so true. Like, we've been raised as women, and we've lost that element of self-care. Like, if you think back to having babies, like pre-babies, and then while you'd had your journey, or, children came into your life, think back, did I actually have a self-care plan? Like, I was saying this to Amanda the other day. It was just like, I can't ever remember the GP or the midwife or the maternal health lady ever saying to me, okay, so these are the weights of your baby, but how are you doing? What's your self-care plan? I don't ever remember during this time when we were pregnant, we read all the books about what to expect when expecting. We spent so much time and effort on buying all these things, the car seat, getting the nappy bag, getting the clothes, having the baby shower. No one ever sat with us and said, so how are you doing? What's your self-care plan? And what do you plan to do, during this course of when you're going through your motherhood? Because as mothers, it's never been passed down by generation. And we look at our mothers. I don't remember my mum having a self-care plan. I don't remember her taking the time out to do things. She had little things that she probably did, but I don't ever remember sitting with her and her saying to me, so sweetheart, I know the baby's going to be okay, but what about you? What are you doing for yourself? And so this is what self-care, tonight, this is a big topic for us, because Amanda and I have both learnt that over this journey, what was happening to us is that we had no self-care plan and we were depleted. That's why we were turning into snappy dragon mums, because we were coming from a place of empty, from scarcity. And we just said to each other, okay, so it's great, we've got the mindfulness, beautiful, but there's some other element that must be missing, and it was the self-care. They go hand in hand. They bring the balance. They bring this sense of joy back into the journey of motherhood. So what does it mean, self-care? It means that you are honoring and you're treating yourself with love and kindness, compassion, empathy, and understanding, you are becoming your own best friend. And you're understanding that you are number one in this life. And you're saying that I am willing to look after my needs in a really nourishing way. And when we do this, we start to bring ourselves back into alignment. Because what's happening when we are getting resentful and starting off the day empty, what happens? We're offline. We're not present. We're worrying about the future. We're worried about the past. We're getting fixated on childhood beliefs and patterns that we feel like everybody owes us something to make us feel good, to meet our needs, but we're not waking up to the reality that it's our responsibility. We are accountable for our own well-being, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, whatever it is. Because that's the only way that's going to take us through this journey of the highs and lows. It's going to help us build the resilience. And so, you know, both Amanda and I realized that this was the game changer when we started to tailor our day and put little appointments to ourselves, little reminders, little buzzers to go off, alarm clocks maybe to be a little bit earlier. We didn't start off big. We started off little things like just meditate. That's enough. Start with that. Then we found something else we could add in. Oh, let's do a yoga practice. Let's do a Reiki practice. Let's bring in a walk. Let's go outside. Let's check in. We started off just simple things. And then we built on it. It became a discipline. It becomes a ritual. It almost comes to the point that it's just like brushing your teeth and you look forward to it. So tonight is all about how, as mothers, can we change the paradigm and honor ourselves and not feel guilty about it. Just say, I owe it to myself and to this family. I need to look after myself. I need to put myself first. So doing mindful moments where you're doing your self-talk, your daily diagnosis of your own internal weather. You could ask yourself, how am I feeling in this moment? What do I need to feel whole? What unmet need do I need to work on? What can I do to honor myself? And we talk about it in our last few sort of talks where we talk about the HALT method. Am I hungry? Am I angry? Am I lonely? Am I tired? So just doing those check-ins whenever you feel like a big emotions coming on or getting a bit tight, or you found yourself getting irritated at your partner or at the kids, just go, oh, I need to, something's happened here. This is the check-in. This is the check-in I need to go internal and realize, where is my inner cup? Where's the water in this glass? Is it really empty? And what can I do to fill it up, to bring a smile back to my face, to bring me back to a steady baseline? And I'm not saying looking for happiness all the time. I'm just getting to a point where I can feel at ease with the as is. I can feel content or neutral. I may not like it, but I'm able to cope with it with a better understanding that it's just going to pass through. It's just a moment in time, and this too shall pass. So
can I just share something?
Yeah, go for it.
We're talking about, even though we're saying honoring the self through self-care, self-care doesn't have to be, doing meditation and having a bath and stuff like that. So I just wanted to give you an example of how I honored myself today, because obviously I'm a mother and I have 3 children. All of them are homeschooling. I'm working from home also. Plus I've got my Suzanne and I have this business together, and then I have work, my part-time job that I need to do, plus obviously the household. And so there's a lot of stuff, and already my life is full, and then adding this homeschooling on top of it and the kids being here all the time. So to be able to do my normal job and PMA is very, very difficult. And so I remembered the first time during COVID, and by the end of it, I was mentally drained. I was physically getting ill. It was just because I just didn't have enough time in the day to do all the self-care that you needed to keep your cup full. And I said to my husband, I said, I'm not doing that again this time. I said, I'm not doing it. I said, I'm going to either take time off work, or I'm going to do shorter days. I'm going to do something like that. And he goes, no, you don't need to do that. I'll step up. I'll help you. And so he has in a sense stepped up, and he has taken over some stuff, but unfortunately he's really busy with work too. And so he's on meetings and I'm on meetings, or he's on a meeting, or he has to go in because he's got a medical a medical fitness assessment that he needs to do. So he's out running because he needs to do all this exercise. So he's not here. And when he's not here, that means who's here? I'm here. And that means that I'm getting then distracted from what I need to do. And I found that, unfortunately for me, which is something I need to work on, I have a very, very high expectation of myself when it comes to work. And I'm being paid to do a job, and I'm being paid to work these hours. And when I'm not doing that, I feel like I'm letting them down, or I feel a bit guilty because I feel like I'm taking advantage of this situation, which I'm not. But unfortunately, my kids are calling out, I need to help them. And so it's been building. So this is obviously, is this the second or third week of homeschooling now? Second, third? And so the first week was okay. Second week was starting to get a bit tricky. This week I've noticed, okay, I can start feeling. And my boss said on our Zoom call, he goes, please make sure you finish at 5 o'clock and you take your breaks. Now, I haven't been taking any of my breaks. I have been finishing half an hour minimum after 5 o'clock. So I'm like, by the end of the day, I'm just exhausted and I've got nothing left in my tank to give anyone. And so when he said that, it gave me that moment to check in and say, okay, this is where you didn't want to be, and you made your husband aware of it. You told him what you were going to do. Okay, now's the time to honor yourself and value yourself and say something. So I said to my husband last night, I said, I can't do this. I said, I'm not willing to do this. I need to make a change. So I'm going to speak to my boss about doing shorter days, or, taking annual leave, like as in I'll work my full day, but I know that there'll be an hour of my day which I won't actually be at work. So I'll put in annual leave for that hour, because I don't want to take advantage. And I spoke to my boss today about it, and we've worked out an arrangement and everything, but I'm feeling so much better about the situation, because now I know, okay, I can look after myself. I don't have to juggle work and do that and feel guilty and feel like I'm letting people down. But that is a form of self-care, because I'm looking after myself and my well-being. So I guess what this topic and this month is all about is start honoring yourself, start checking in, start noticing, where's my cup being depleted? What's going on for me? What's happening for me? What am I willing to accept? What am I not willing to accept? Because it got to week 3 and week 1 was good, no issues. Week 2 was like, oh, okay, a few things not too happy. Week 3, I'm like, oh no, I'm not doing this, because I can see where this is going. No, I need to, and my husband might not be happy about it. My boss might not be happy about it. You know what? Too bad. I have to honor what's right for me, and I need to do what's right for me. And that was hard, because to have a voice and speak up again, to your boss, and to speak up to your partner who might be relying on you to do certain things or be a certain way, and you feel like maybe you're letting them down in a way because you're not coping. But I understand that there can be the nice Amanda that everyone enjoys being around, or there can be the not so nice Amanda that no one enjoys being around, and I don't want to be that person. So I just wanted to share that, because I think it's really important that we really start thinking about, I guess, when we're saying self-care, it's this honoring the self. It's knowing, what do I need in this moment, and going forward with that.
Yeah, and that's a really beautiful that you could share that really raw and honest, because that's exactly what I was going to sum up. So for you to be able to say that in your own words, you've just nailed it. You actually honored yourself as a mother, and you're doing your own mothering. You're recognizing, I need to mother myself. I'm not looking after my needs. Would I ever do this? Would I want my child to do this? Hell no. So it's like, we have to let go of this stigma and this pressure as mothers that feel like we have to be superwomen, that we have to do this. I mean, let's face it, it's wonderful that our partners do want to help out, but you know that you're the rock. You know that the kids are going to get, Mom, I can't do this. Mom, can you feed me? It's going to happen, because we're like the default. Everybody runs to us for something. And that's another thing that we need to work on, because obviously we have conditioned them and we've co-created this ourselves. So, but Amanda, you've just highlighted the value of understanding by week 3, this is a train wreck. I can see the train wreck, and I'm not going on this train anymore. I've got to get off. So you By you having that conversation with your boss, you're actually saying, I value myself as a woman. Like, I need to look after my needs. And, you know, we need to understand that we need to start being the greatest love of all. We need to be able to say, you deserve this. You're worthy of it. You are enough. And don't feel guilty about saying, I'm not coping, because it's only human. This is part of the human condition. We can't be good at juggling all the balls in there. That's ridiculous. So it's about valuing your worthiness. Now you've met your primary needs, you've put it out there, and you're going to have a better week next week, because you know that you're not feeling like you're dipping into the company that I'm just going to, you know, take the hour off. You've actually put in your leave, so you feel good about yourself. You're showing that your boss that this is the plan, you're being proactive. And now, hopefully, over the next few weeks, as we continue to do this, you're not going to feel guilty, because you've given yourself permission and you've put yourself at the top. And that's what, unfortunately, we haven't been taught that. We've always thought that to be a mother, we must put everybody first before us. And this is where we need to flip the paradigm and say, no, I need to put the mask on myself to do the breathing, you know, when the plane's going down, and then I put it on the rest of the family. So that's great that you can connect inwardly and intuitively know, I just can't do this. This is not good for me. I need to refuel. I need to show up. I need to be present. Then I can be of service to everybody that love me and need me. So the greatest lesson that we want to share with you girls tonight is really about honoring yourself, and stop setting these high expectations on yourself and to others to make you feel good about who you are and how to meet your needs. Because what Amanda's just demonstrated tonight, she's taken accountability. I need to do this for me. It doesn't matter what everybody else thinks. I'm number one. I am number one, and I deserve it. So be proactive. It doesn't feel right. Use your voice. Take charge. You know, you can control your emotions. The contrast that's out there, we can't control that, but how we show up, how we respond to it, we can take charge of that. We have choices, okay? So it's about honoring that, let go of the guilt, ask for help. It's unfortunate we can't really call the village in, but we can, you know, take time out where we need to. Like this month, I'm grateful that our company tells us to take 4 days off this month. So I'll be taking off every Tuesday, knowing that I can give the attention that I need to my daughter, because she's not into school. So I'm in the same boat as Amanda, but I've just almost gone, you know what, just take it easy. I'll just do what you need to do. And I just told the teacher today, you're just going to get the tasks that need to be handed in, and that's the way it's going to go, because I'm the same as Amanda. I take my job very seriously. I like to do it. I get paid for it. So I'm like, I can't juggle this. You know, it's really hard for me to stop and start. Then I fall behind. So I will give the attention that she needs on the Tuesdays that I have off. And then it's just now, as mothers, making the time to set up a daily intention to check in. All we ask of you is smile when you wake up. Look for something in the day to be grateful about, and try and check into the breath, check into the feelings, what's going on for me. And again, we're not asking you to have this whole tailored plan, but we just want you to be consciously aware that when your cup is empty, you can find something to do to fill it up, because that's going to get you through this wave. We don't know how long it's going to go. And I don't think it's ever going to be like it'll never come again. This is a new reality. We need to be able to be on top of it. This is the roller coaster. So really make an effort starting from tomorrow. What can I do? Something small to bring self-care, because that's how you honor your self-love. You're going to heal that inner child that wants to play. Yeah, bring her back up. Bring her back to the surface. Stop being so serious as an adult. Come back to the playfulness of life, and then you will be able to get through this and have the resilience that you need. Yeah. So does anyone else want to add to that, what they want to do, or they want to raise a concern or anything we can deconstruct for you? It's up to you, but that's what it is about tonight. It's just finding ways to honour yourself through self-care.
What we'd like everyone to go away with tonight is an intention. And so either type in your intention or voice your intention, so you have something because when you voice it or write it down, it's sort of like you're making a commitment to yourself. And when you share something, it's sort of like, oh, I've shared it now, so I need to honor it. I need to actually do it. It's sort of like a check-in, like, oh, they know, they might be monitoring me type thing. So yeah, I guess I'll go first and set my intention. So my intention is to continue to notice how I'm feeling during this homeschool period. And if next week things have improved and I feel like, yes, I'm traveling really well, then I know that my plan's working. But if I'm noticing that there are still some other things going on for me, then I'm going to review it, and I'm going to amend whatever I need to continue to honour my space and my children, so that I can be the best mum I can be during this time for them.
That's good. Anyone else want to share? I can see Angela wrote something here. I've been smiling more. I can't read this. You see that? Oh, here it is.
Yeah, so I'm going to consciously picture. I will do that when I wake up in the morning and think of one thing to look forward to the day. Yeah. So Angela's intention is to smile more and consciously think of one thing to look forward in the day. That's beautiful, because you're already setting your day in the right way. Because unfortunately, sometimes what we do is we get up, we look on our phone, first thing we see is messages about COVID or Facebook about COVID, or, you know, and so it already, our energy is like, oh.
And it's like you're just drawn into the matrix. Like you want to be able to pull yourself out and say, I don't need to get into this world of cyber. I'm just going to disconnect. And that's it, you know, smile and just be appreciative of the day ahead. You have a body, you can breathe, you've got your senses, you can walk like this. Just little things to be appreciative of. Yep. Anyone else?
I think I'll share something. I think one of the things that you said before was the halt thing.
Yes.
And I think even if it's not obviously any of those things, you know, it just stops you from reacting.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed that I think it's because my cup's empty. I think that's a big part of it. But I've noticed I've been reacting and kind of snapping, whereas before I wouldn't have reacted like that. I would have kind of taken time to respond, I guess, rather than reacting. And I'm finding it really hard not to not react. So just like that halt thing just stops you from, even if it's checking in on any of those things, and even if it's none of those things that I'm aware of, I think it just stops the sort of, I guess it stops me from getting angry or reacting right in that moment. Yeah. So my intention will be to try and practice that a bit more.
We call that, what we do is we call it our pause. So it's like this mindful pause. So whenever we noticed that it took us a long time to get it before the reaction happened. Like when we first started using mindfulness and started checking in of how we were feeling, it was after. So we would, like, you know, yell and scream or whatever, have the reaction, and then after, like, oh. But then we started learning, oh, don't beat yourself up about it, okay? This is a new pattern of behavior, a new neural pattern that you're trying to create in your brain. So that takes time for that lesson to learn and that new brainwave to sort of kick in and the road to be built. So then what would happen was we would start feeling it, and just before we'd start talking, and then we'd like, oh no, I don't want to do that anymore. So we'd just stop and we'd breathe and we'd pause. And then it got to a place where we could feel it building, feel the beginning. We were just about to say something and we would realize, oh no, stop and pause. And then, you know, it would get, oh, actually, I know that this is a trigger for me. So what am I going to do? So it takes time to get to that point of stopping the reaction from happening, but don't let that discourage you. Allow yourself like a free pass as such, to say that, okay, it's okay, I made a mistake, and that's what this is all about. It's about learning, about knowing, okay, this is what I've done this time, and then investigating why have I reacted this way? Oh, because my cup's empty. Why is my cup empty? Because I've had no sleep, I've been in the house for 48 hours, not gone outside, got some fresh air or had any sunshine. I haven't even been eating meals properly. So there could be numerous things why you're so depleted that you can't even think straight. A lot of us, when we're right on the edge, we do lose it. So when we originally saw the HALT thing, it's obviously hungry, angry, lonely, and tired. But I saw another one that says HALTs, and the S at the end is for stress. So if it's not one of the others, think about, where is this stress coming from? What's causing me this stress? Because there's obviously something that's triggering, and it might be some type of stress that could be what's causing it. It's a really good check-in, and it's a great check-in when your child's losing it too, because you're like, okay, prime example today, my daughter had a little bit of a thing going on. She was upset about having to do a task, and because she did it, and I said, oh, look, it's not 100% right. Let's review it and let's understand this a bit better. And she was like, no, I'm done. I've finished it. And she was like, rolling around on the ground and doing a few things that, I'm not doing it. And then I sort of looked at the time. I'm like, oh, it's now time. She's now due to eat. It could be partly due to hunger. So I got some food into her and I said, have this to eat. When you're ready, let me know. And she looked timed. What she did, she ended up doing some other work. And then in the afternoon, she called me and goes, Mum, I'm ready to do it now. And we sat and did it. But had I been in resistance and gone in and go, no, we're doing it now, let's do it, but because I did that check-in and sort of go, okay, she's upset. So she's a bit stressed because she's got to redo the work, and she's also hungry. So let me reduce the stress by removing the pressure, and let me give her food to fill those two unmet needs. And then I'll wait to see how she progresses. And then she came to me and asked me when she was ready to do the task, and we got it done. So not only use it with yourself, but definitely use it with your kids, because I find that it definitely helps. And because a lot of the time we react because they're reacting, but if we can go, okay, there's something going on for them, let me figure out what it is, then we don't react, because we're in that we're more in that curiosity mode than why is this child not listening to me mode.
It is. That's the conscious parenting, isn't it? It's sort of like using your emotional intelligence to sort of self-regulate, so you can come from that neutral space of calm, and then listen, check in, lean into the challenge and go, okay, is this child hungry? Yeah, it's about lunchtime. Maybe I'll feed it. And then by her coming to you, you haven't got that resistance. It's a more of a dance. Like, she'll come now, she'll come close because you've met her need. So yeah, it's tricky, but we've all been there, and this is really, we're under the roof, 4 walls. It's like Groundhog Day, isn't it? So you've really got to find ways to distract the day. Sometimes even clapping in the moment just breaks you. Like, you go, whoa, that's it, stop talking. Like, you're just physically breaking the momentum, because that's what it is. We get caught in this default, and it's almost like mindfulness is creating the space, holding it for as long as you can, or sometimes just walking away from it, checking in, and then you don't feel the same after you've distracted yourself. Distract the mind, take the focus off. And also being the witnesser of your thoughts and realizing you're not your thoughts, you're not your feelings, you're not emotions. They just come through you. They're visitors. So it's your body's telling you, I'm out of alignment. Something is unmet from me, or I feel like I'm powerless, or maybe I need a bit more control. So it's always just checking in, where is this trigger coming from? And it's usually a childhood pattern. So it's going back to the childhood self. It's a whole new level, come to level 1 and we'll teach you that. But yeah, it's just, that's where it is. All the mechanics, it's all back in the past. We are still parenting from a childhood memory, not from the adult self. And that's where we work on that, to get to that place where you can just sit and be calm and go, okay, I'm hearing you. I'm leaning in. I'm being curious, not furious. I'm looking for connection, not correction right now. Yeah. Anyone else?
Adriana shared her intention is to release my expectations in regards to how my day and my kids should look like. Yes, instead accepting the as is. Yes, that will help me to accept myself and also accept my children as they are instead of how I think they should be or do. Sometimes I stress out because things doesn't happen as I'm expecting since the day starts, yes. However, end up not being present, missing out in the here and now with my children and the blessings that are happening as the day progresses. Yeah, we definitely all do that. That's a really good intention of just being present with what it is, because we do have expectations, like prime example was last Friday. I was like, okay, the school's decided not to give any tasks on a Friday. What they're going to do is the work throughout the week, anything that's been missed or anything that needs to be caught up on, they can do on a Friday. I'm like, fine, great. Friday's going to be a really easy day. We're going to have like one task to do. It's going to be so smooth and easy. And it was a whole full day of school. And I had this expectation and I was so cranky because I had this expectation.
We built it up. You've got to go with no expectations. Just that they wake up is enough for me.
Look, I've been practicing for a long time, and we still put these expectations and have this, I was attached to my Friday and I was in resistance because I wasn't happy with what was going on. Afterwards, I saw it clearly and I was like, oh, I was so cranky with these poor kids. And I said to them, you're ruining my Friday.
But that's it. It's the uncertainty. You just have to be with the as is, as, Adriana was saying. And I know that with me, I get a bit of resistance with my daughter because I'm like, she's nothing like me. I must have done everything out of fear because I just handed in everything and I just did everything as a little kid. I never questioned authority. I never questioned the school system. And my daughter's like, what is this all for? You can just Google. And I'm thinking, yeah, you're right. You can just talk to the iPad and tell it what you needed to do. She's just like, so it's just like, I think, I look at the kids today and they're switched on. They get it. They sort of go, well, what's all this for? It's hard as a parent. You're just like, what is it all for when I could speak to Google and just say, look this up for me and do this for me. So it is hard because she's a totally different personality and I've had to let go of that expectation and realize she's not me. She's not me. She's here to challenge me and get me to let go of my ego and let go of this idea that she needs to be a certain child, a certain pupil and student. And that's been a challenge for me for sure. So yeah, have got any more comments there?
Thanks for sharing, Adriana.
Yes.
What's Angela's? Angela, maybe I'm getting more mindful. I observe myself cycling through emotions today, but like I went through 3 cycles through the course of the day. Yeah. And at the moment, it really is that because there's so much going on around us, one moment everything's smooth sailing and everything's good. Then someone calls you or messages you and, they're saying, prime example is my husband's mother. She's lives by herself, so she's really struggling through being by herself, and she's like, no one called, like she was saying I could hear because he had her on
this.
No one calls me, I'm here by myself, and I'm so lonely. And then as she progresses through the conversation, I spoke to Wyndham, he called me, that's her brother. I spoke to Gary, he called me, and I laughed.
They're stuck in their story. They're stuck in their own story. They can't even see it.
No one calls me, but her expectation is that someone calls her every day.
Yeah.
Want someone to call her every day. So when someone calls once a week or once a fortnight, that to her is not calling me.
Yeah, it's not enough. It's
really interesting, these expectations we have and these beliefs we have and how they control our happiness and our behavior. So definitely cycling through those emotions and having these moments of feeling good and not feeling good is really a great, as you said, you are being more mindful, because that is definitely what's going to be happening. Nothing ever stays the same. Everything is constantly changing and flowing, so there will be these cycles, and it might be the more mindful you are, the less dips and the less highs you have, because you're just going like this instead of this big roller coaster ride. So that's what the mindfulness is. It's about sort of bringing it down to this area, still going up and down, but just not gigantic mounts. What else do we have here? That's the thing I get cranky to. I realise that this week how my expectations take away my happiness and harmony. Yeah, definitely. It's a real killer. It's really that. I was listening to someone who was saying about what was they saying? I can't think of the word. The word's gone out of my head. Oh no, I can't think of it. If it comes back to me, I'll let you know. Has anyone else got anything they'd like to share or ask of us? We've still got, what time is it? We've still got quite a little bit of time free to answer any questions.
More of a comment really than a question, but it just reminded me with you when you were talking about the Holtz method. Been working a little bit with PACE, and that's around what you're talking about with finding the joy and being playful. So PACE is a technique that is often used with traumatized children. Mm-hmm. Trauma. It's playfulness, acceptance, curiosity, empathy. Mm-hmm. So approaching situations where kids are having tantrums, mm-hmm. Or having breakdowns, meltdowns, hitting whatever it might be, problem behaviours with those 4 things. So the P is a little p, they often say. So like you can't always be playful, obviously, as parents as well. We can't always be playful. There are times where we have to be serious. Mm-hmm. But always going in on those 4 things as a first port of call, rather than that kind of parental talk down, go in the more acceptance, curiosity. Oh, I wonder why you did that. What does that mean when you do that? What does it mean for you when you do that kind of thing? Rather than asking, literally wondering out loud, asking questions. Sometimes kids can't articulate for themselves, what they're feeling. But if you wonder out loud, it gives them the space to be able to do the same.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful practice. Thank you for sharing that, because particularly in this time, we should be using that practice towards ourselves also. Be a little bit playful with yourself, accept what's going on for you and how you're feeling, and be curious. Why is this here for me? What's going on? And key, I love the last one, empathy. We forget to be empathetic to our children's needs and to our needs. We really forget that. Then empathy is key to everything when we're doing anything about honouring ourselves and honouring those in our lives. Because if we can't feel empathy for ourselves when we're struggling, then that just shows that we're missing out on loving ourselves. And honouring ourselves is fully loving and accepting who we are, because when we fully value ourselves, we look after our needs. We step up and have a voice and go, I'm not doing this. This is hurting me in some way. And I am important. My needs do matter. I do matter. And so I will value myself, and I will do that through empathy, 100%. Yeah, beautiful message. Thank you.
Everyone's quiet. I think too also, even when we do mess up as mums, just admit that to our child. Oh, I got angry and I got upset because of this. I think our children need to see that sometimes we do drop the ball. It's part of being human, but we can also pick ourselves back up and apologize and move on, because I think they look at us being so perfect. We're their role models, and I think they need to see us. Sometimes we do have a cry, we do get upset, and it's part of the human condition. We need to express these emotions and validate. Mummy's really upset right now because she wanted you to do this, but she understands that, you're not ready to do it. And just learning so they can understand what are these emotions, what do they all mean, rather than be afraid of them. Because if you think about it, people only probably know 3 or 4 main emotions, but behind every emotion is another condition or another under the iceberg. And so I think it's important that we start to use this language very openly. And I talk about the ego all the time. So my kids know what the ego is, because I always say, oh, mummy's ego is here. Because, she just comes out and she rants and they can see it. And I see it myself. And sometimes I have to stop my ego because she wants to pick up on stuff like, are you going to put that away? Are you going to clean up after yourself? And I know it's my ego, because she has this sense of entitlement. She has this sense of everybody needs to do what I say. I'm the queen, and I have to sort of pull myself in and just go, okay, just be quiet, Suzanne. Seriously, just take it easy. So I think our kids need to understand this language so it becomes second nature to them, and they know what this all means when they go out into the big world, how people cope with stuff, and not to get offended when people crack it. They're having their own issues, and everything's a reflection. What we put out is what we feel back in. We're all interconnected. So yeah.
Yeah, it also just gives your kids. I mean, if you're modeling behaviour, it actually also gives them permission to be able to go, oh yeah, like I'm expected to say sorry when I do something wrong, you know, and therefore so should my parents. I think that's a perfectly acceptable situation, but we all just get very defensive a lot of the times, myself included. But you know, there have been times where I've actually had to walk back in and go, yeah, that wasn't right, you know. And usually, you know, it's quite amazing their reaction to it. They'll be like, oh, you know, they'll almost parentify themselves. Oh no, it's okay, you know. Oh, you know, and you're like, hang on, roles are being reversed. But it's quite lovely to see, you know, like if you take the seed of modeling that behaviour, then it gives them the freedom.
Yeah.
And I think our kids love us unconditionally. I mean, how many times we crack it and they still love us? And it's like, oh my God, you know. There's no transaction with a child. Do you understand that? Like as parents, we put a lot of transaction. If you don't do this, and we really do need to go, wow, these kids love us unconditionally. So it's quite powerful. What have we got here?
I think one of the other things I wanted to mention about this, when we honour ourselves, we actually, as Naomi just said, we model the behaviour for them to honour themselves as they get older. Yeah. And, you know, how do they know about, Suzanne was just saying at the start, we were never taught about self-care when we were pregnant, or when, you know, we were never told to set up a plan. We were never told to look after our needs. No one really checked in on us. No one, you know, advised us all the things that we need to set in place to look after ourselves. And so, you know, if you have, you know, whether you have a daughter or a son, it's about showing them the importance of this honouring the self and valuing the self, so that they do that for themselves and they allow their partners to do that also. So there's not this feeling of guilt if you're doing it, or resentment if the other person's doing it, because that's what will happen is oh, you go and do this, you go and do that, you know, you're enjoying your life and having such a good time. So the other person could sometimes in that relationship feel resentful because they see this person doing all this stuff to honour themselves, and it's because they themselves have an issue with loving themselves and honouring themselves, and so they resent the other person for being able to do that. So if you can teach your children this beautiful practice, then it will hold them in good stead for looking after themselves and for the relationships that they move into. So when we're doing this practice, we're not only, like, if sometimes you feel like it's a bit selfish, always think about, when I do it for myself, I'm actually doing it for my children too. I'm doing it for my relationship, because every time you work on the self, you're actually building stronger connections, building stronger relationships for those in your life. It's sometimes we feel that this self-care, looking after ourselves, looking after our needs, is maybe putting someone else's needs or cares on the back burner, but it's actually not, because we show up differently and we're able to be more available for our children, for our partners, because we have looked after our needs.
Stacey's put a really good question here. I wonder why, as mums, we forget the empathy with our children and ourselves, but can hold it in many other relationships and situations. That's a good one to answer. Do you want to go first, or me?
So why do we? Yeah, I think what happens is I think it's the big thing about expectations. I think we sit in expectation of what we expect of ourselves and what we expect of those we love the most. You're my child, you should behave this way. I'm this mother and I should behave this way. We have these expectations of ourselves. And when we don't meet them, we don't have empathy for ourselves. Oh, you're a stupid this, why can't you get things right? You know, we are very, very nasty to ourselves because we have this expectation of how we should show up as a mother, as a woman, as a partner, as a worker. We set these standards for ourselves and unrealistic standards for our children, because I don't know why we do it, but we do. And then what happens is because we don't meet them, or our children don't meet them, we have no empathy, because we're like, well, you should have done that.
Yeah.
It should be this way. I think that for me, that's why there's no empathy. Whereas we don't have expectations of other people's children or what they're doing. We don't care what they're doing. So there's no value, there's no meaning to their behavior to us. So because it holds no value, no meaning to us, we can have empathy for them, because it feels like it's not affecting us in any way.
I also think it's generations of cultural beliefs, society beliefs, gender beliefs. We've been indoctrinated with all these conditions, and you know, when we were young, you wouldn't question authority. You just did what your mum and dad told you, right? And if you've got parents that are in that very strong, you know, typical gender roles, that's who you model as you going through your life. That's what you think is normal, right? And so I think a lot of it is we lack the empathy, because we are always looking to the outside to validate us, always looking to prove ourselves. And this COVID has taught us a lot. You know, who are we without the role? Who are we without the image, without the job, without the title, without the position, without the monetary status? Who are we? Like, we really need to question, because we've built ourselves on this idea. This is who I am when I wear this label, when I drive this car, when I live in this suburb, when I have this fancy postcode and all that. And so it's just like, okay, so we take that all away. We're actually all equal. We're all equalized now. Anyone can get sick. You know, anyone is possible. So I think what you're trying to say there is that we have lost that connection, because we're always looking to the outside to fill up our cup, and that's feeding the ego. The ego is always looking for separation, thinks it's better than the other. And so this is teaching us now, it's a bit of a spiritual awakening where you can go, I'm not the ego. There's something more there, and it's all about love. It's coming back to the energy, coming back to consciousness, coming back to the essence of who you are, the inner self. And then you don't need to look to the outside, and you don't need that validation. Yeah. Got another comment there.
When I'm out of my center, my kids tell me that I need to keep practicing.
I love it. They're so honest, so true, so authentic in themselves. Beautiful.
She pulls me up all the time.
I know, I get it too. You're conscious parent. You're not very conscious parenting. Even the teacher is the student.
And you know what? For me, it's like I want them to be that way, because it pulls me out of my head. It pulls me out of my crap that I'm in, because sometimes you get lost and particularly now, because there's so much going on. You know, we physically might not be going anywhere, but mentally we're going everywhere, and we're doing everything. And so we get stuck in that. We get stuck in the doing. I've got to do, I've got to do, I've got to do. And because we're doing, we're not being, and we're not being present. And so we crack it and we do things. And so our children are there. As we said, Suzanne always says, we always say, our children are here to awaken us, and they can do that by calling us out. And you know, if we're giving them those tools to see that behavior, then it's holding them in good stead for when they go out and have relationships, whether it's with friends or partners or work colleagues. They see the other person's crap and they're like, I'm not buying into that. I'm not taking that on. I'm not carrying that baggage and thinking it's about me. So yeah, so unfortunately it's good. There's good and it's bad when they call you out, but you know, I always try and spin it right. Okay, I'm obviously doing my job right, because they can see it. They see it and they're calling me out.
Yeah, I don't take offense to it. I'm like, cool, yeah, I'm exactly like you. I'm like, yeah, I want to be wakened up, because that's part of my journey, to keep raising my consciousness. And if it means stumping my ego a little bit, then I'm okay with that. But I can see my kids' egos all the time. I can see, you know, I can just see it. And I think when you start to witness it, you start to see the joke in life. You get it. Like, you're just like, okay, This is what it is. It's the human condition, and it's learning to see the jovial side of it. Don't take it so seriously. You know, we are in the Matrix. This is the Truman Show. I said, this is the biggest celebrity, like, what is it, Big Brother you'll ever experience. We are in the reality TV show. Now, you can either be the director or you can be the actors. So it's like, you can direct your day, you can direct your emotions, how you show up. But you got to see it. I just see it's like a big satire. It's a big joke. Every time I hop on and see what's happening, I'm like, God, it's just funny. I'm sorry to say, but it's a shit show. So it really is. And I just see the joke in it. I can see the joke in what's going on. And so that gets me through the day. A smile, have a giggle. Yeah, get on with it. This is reality. Accept the reality. Meet it. Greet it. Yeah.
So would anyone else like to share maybe their intention for looking after themselves or honouring themselves?
Everyone's quiet. No one wants to put themselves out there.
I've got a bunch of friends who are nerds. We're all nerds, so I'm going to admit that. We've actually been running a spreadsheet game where we have daily challenges and we have personal challenges.
Good.
So and the daily challenges, and there's a weekly challenge, daily challenges and personal challenges, and we get points. So it's very points driven. But two of my daily challenges are just making sure that I meditate for at least 20 minutes a day, and another one that's just not on my list but is very important to me is just making sure I get out for a walk. Like, you know, it wasn't until that was taken away and, you know, being inside was really emphasized that I've realized how much that I really needed it. We would often go for long hikes and things, and I can't do that anymore. So just making sure that, you know, even if it's around the block,
you can still do it.
Just in bite-sized pieces.
Good on you. That's good.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to mention is that spending that time outside, even if it's just in your garden, just going outside to break up the day, because it just being in your house and in the same environment, so you're working from home, you're living your normal life from home, you know, everything's home, which means that everything is all mixed up. Usually work is there, home is here, then there's family, then there's this, but everything's all in the one area. So even like at the end of your workday, if anyone's working, go out of your house, get in your car, turn the car on, turn the car off, shut the door, come back in your house as a reset to sort of say, okay, now I'm home. I've finished my day at work. Now I put my job away, because I find that sometimes I'll still think about work, or I'm like, I'll just quickly get this thing done. I'll just do this thing because it's there. And so I've really had to know, once you put your computer off, even though I've been putting it off late, which I won't be doing from next week, once you put your computer down, that's it. Your work day's ended. No one's expecting anything of you. Everyone else is not doing any work. So why do you still continue to put that on yourself? So just finding ways to break up your day, and, you know, going outside is a great way to do that, because it sort of resets, gets you out of this environment. Okay, I've gone outside, walked around the block, or got in my car, gotten out of my car, you know, whatever it might be, just to sort of make those breaks throughout the day. And, you know, sometimes, particularly with us mothers, you might not be able to get away within the house. The kids haven't figured out you can hide in the car yet. I've tried my bathroom, I've tried my bedroom cupboard, they find me. But I was in the car today, not because I was hiding, but I got back from the grocery store because I did my groceries, and I thought, I'm just going to sit in the car for 5 minutes before I go in. Just, you know, did some look some work on Facebook or whatever, but I was just like in the car. I was like, oh, no one knows I'm out here. And it was just lovely. Like, there's no one looking for me or trying to find me. And if they are, I can't hear them because I'm hiding in the car. So, you know, as mums, sometimes we have to, you know,
you have to be creative
to find those moments, particularly because there's no break from for them either. So making sure the children get a break from being in the house too, because there's schools in the house, plays in the house, everything's in the house. And, you know, so then I'm like making a concerted effort to make sure my kids are also spending, you know, some time outside every day too. Even, you know, it was like lightly raining the other day, but we still went for a bike ride because it wasn't heavy. And I was like, come on, we can still go. It's not a problem. And they liked it. You know, kids don't care about things like that. We're more concerned about it. So yeah, making sure that's, thank you for bringing that, Naomi, because I think that's important for all of us to do, spending that time.
I think our environment it's so artificial, it's become so enmeshed that, like you said, Amanda, we've lost that structure of going to work, coming home. There were segments, there's no segments, everything's enmeshed. And I think you've got to make that conscious effort to break up the day. I was giggling to myself, I think it was yesterday. I can feel myself, like they say, sitting is the new smoking. And you're just sitting all day. You feel like your thighs are feel like they're flatter and they're not moving. And I need to do a 3-minute office workout. So I looked it up and I'm doing it in the lounge room, and Leo's on his office meeting, and I'm just giggling to myself because I'm going, I'm trying to move fast cardio for 3 minutes, but it felt so good because my heart was pumping. I got a little bit of a boost because I can feel myself at 2 o'clock. I get a bit like, I'm really tired now and I'm getting grumpy because I haven't had my lunch or whatever. And I could feel myself like a little girl. I was giggling because I'm going like having a workout. But those are the things you can do to break up your day. And YouTube's great. You can find up 2-minute, 3-minute, whatever you want to do, little workouts to just get you away from the desk, to do something, get the heart pumping, get a little bit of like a bit of a, not a sweat, but a bit of a flush, and you feel like, yeah, I'm ready, let's start again. And I've got a nice garden, so like you said, I try and go out there and have my lunch. I might put my feet in the grass, get a bit of energy going, and it's just nice to break up the day, because my lounge room has turned into the office pretty much. So it's like papers everywhere, and it's like I need to just once a week I just throw all the old papers, recycle and start fresh, because this whole house has become an office, and this is it. This is like it's all enmeshed, and so we do need to find ways to break up, to get the segments again back in the life. Okay, so Stacey's gone to put her kids to bed. Okay.
So at the end of our sessions, we always end with our mantra, which is the first part is a blessing towards ourselves, the second part is a blessing towards our child, and the third part is like a blessing towards our relationship with our child. So I might mute you, Suzanne, so that the music plays properly through. Okay, so here we go. And sing along at home if you want to. May I be conscious in all my actions. May I be wise in all of my responses. May I be filled with love and kindness and compassion. May I be better connected to myself. May you be conscious in all your actions. May you be wise in all of your responses. May you be filled with love and kindness and compassion. May you be better connected to yourself. May we be conscious in all our actions. May we be wise in all of our responses. May we be filled with love and kindness and compassion. May we be better connected to each other, one another. Alrighty. So thank you so much for coming tonight and sharing this time with us. Remember to Honour Yourself this month. There'll be some blog pieces, some vlogs, some quotes and everything on our Facebook page if you want some more assistance with looking after yourself and keeping in that safe space. And obviously Suzanne will be doing meditation this month, so come and honour yourself with meditation. And I'd also like to share that Naomi here is my yoga teacher, and she's actually sharing some mindful breathing classes which I went to this week, and they're just really short sessions, but if it's something you're interested in, Amrita Yoga, AMRITA Yoga, I think would it be classified as Dingley Village? Dingley?
Yes.
If you check her out and wanting to do some extra meditations, she has those meditations for free through Bookamax. So you can, if you have a look on her website, she's got all the information there. What's the name? I will type it in.
Yeah,
so
maybe just type it in with the spelling.
It's Amrita Yoga in Dingley, but she's got a Facebook page, so you can check her out there, and she puts on the events there. So can highly recommend those short meditations if you're wanting something weekly. Susanna only do monthly ones, but Naomi's starting to do some weekly ones to support her community, which I'm very grateful for. So, you know, there's lots of stuff out there to help honour yourself and support yourself and find, you know, it doesn't have to be, as Suzanne said, a whole half an hour, 20 minutes. It can be just these 5-minute short breaks to look after yourself. So thank you so much for all coming.
I just want to add one more thing.
Yes, sorry.
We have our PMA wisdom teachings, like a group or page. You're welcome to join. And what it is, I'm uploading Dr. Shefali's viral wisdom lessons. There's about 52 or 54. I'm up to 29, I think. No, I've been watching ahead of you guys. I posted 27, day 27. But this is for anyone that wants to get a different perspective about what's going on and see what's the deeper meaning behind all this. There is a lot of inner work, a lot of awakening that we can do, and listening to her. I mean, you've got to take the time. They're not bite-sized. They'll go for half an hour, but you come away going, yeah, I'd never thought of it like that, but that makes sense. And she uses a lot of Eastern wisdom and presents it in a different format. So you're most welcome to join that page. It's PMA Wisdom Teaching. Yeah.
They are long, but they are good. Sometimes I find I'll do it while I'm cooking dinner or washing the dishes, because I can put my
have something while you're doing it. Yep.
But then sometimes I've got a pen and paper there because I'm writing stuff down and stuff, because there's some nice tips and ideas, and I guess obviously things that, you know, we pick up and share with our community. And that's one of the reasons why Suzanne's taken the lead on this and sharing these each day and sort of doing a little overview.
Yeah, trying to do a summary just to give you a background of what this is about.
And so if you're thinking, oh my God, I can't watch all of them, just read Suzanne's short blurb on each one, and that you'll automatically, when you read the blurb, be like, oh yes, I need to listen to that one, and listen to those ones if you can't listen to them all. Because there was one, what was the one about the relationships? I remember listening to the one, because I listened to them the first time around. There was this one about relationships, and I can't remember what it was, and I was like, it just hit home for me, so much stuff, and I'm like, oh.
Well, how we co-create all these, I
can't remember what it was.
Relationships that all in our life, we've co-created these moments, you know.
Sadly.
Or relationships die. You have to let go.
Yes, that's another thing too.
Yeah.
That's the cycle of life.
It was the first one, because I've listened to the first one. It was really good.
Yeah. Oh, good. That's good to see you get something out of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, look, so that's, you know, something. And then as obviously that page is for us to share different types of teachings, different types of wisdom. So at the moment, we're just sharing this journey of Dr. Shefali's teachings, because it's specifically relevant to COVID and what's coming up. So we wanted to share that journey again with people that may miss it the first time.
Okay.
That's it.
That's it, people.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We appreciate you spending the time with us, because we know how valuable time is. If you're needing anything, don't hesitate to reach out to us. I will send a follow-up email, so our contact details are on there if you need anything. So take care, enjoy your evening, and we'll see you again hopefully next month.
Yes, and practice self-care.
Yeah. Bye.
You are worthy. See you, ladies.